Hey there, everybody. It's 2 hours UTC, and it's time again for Astronomy Daily Live. So, hope everybody's doing well. You can call me Cosmic. And here we are again. Hope everybody's doing excellently out there today. Hello to all you live viewers, and special hello to those of you who watch this later. I know that it isn't convenient for everyone around this spherical planet. It's so inconvenient to be living on a sphere because we have to worry about, in my location the sun's over here, and in your location the sun's over here, and in this person's location it's down over there, and it's really inconvenient. So unfortunately I haven't figured out any way to deal with that yet. So be it. So be it. So yeah, thanks for everybody who is showing up live. It's always awesome to see everybody live, and it's also great to watch the view numbers climb over the next 24 hours, because then I know that you are watching it later, and that's why I try, in the titles of these live streams, which I usually do. I try to do them right after these live streams. So uh, whenever you come to this list later on, you can sort of see the titles and sort of have a general idea what the topic or topics were uh, that that day. Now, I would say probably half the time. Well, how about this? I'll say 40% of the time, 45% of the time, I fix those titles uh, pretty much right after the live stream. Um, 45% of the time, I do it the morning after. So I'll finish the live stream where I am on this sphere, on this so-called planet. Um, I'm in southeastern Arizona. So that puts me on Mountain Standard Time in the United States. And Arizona is one of the few, I think, locations on the planet that does not observe daylight savings time. So I am always on Mountain Standard Time. And Mountain Standard Time is always 7 hours behind UTC. So it is now 2:03 UTC on May 11th, 2018. But where I'm located on this planet, it is 7:03 p.m. 1903 on May 10th, 2018. So uh, where was I going with that? I don't know. Um, Point is that sometimes what I'll do is I'll wait until my morning, and then I will update the title and update the graphic, and also create a new event for that day as as well. If I don't create the event right after I do an update, then I'll probably forget to create the event until right before I start this live stream, and then I have to scramble. And the one thing I hate doing, the one thing I hate more than anything else, and I avoid it like the plague, is hurrying. I hate to hurry. Yeah. I'll not do something if I have to hurry at it. So I would much rather just not even do it. So cheers. Speaking of not hurrying, here's my nice thick mug of coffee. Cheers. So hope everybody's doing well. Now, this live stream is called Astronomy Daily Live, and it is just a casual, fun get together of friends um, to talk about a common passion, and that is, of course, the science of astronomy. And I, you know, it's definitely a science. So science is sort of mingled into all of this as well, and science has a method, right? It's called, in fact, the scientific method, and that's something I need to bring up. I don't have it with me tonight. Let me share my screen and see if I can just find that really cool graphic that I found prior to even starting this live stream several months ago. While that's loading, I'm going to load up my live stream on my smartphone here so I can monitor its progress. So let's see if I can find. Let's see if I can find the graphic that I really sort of like. I don't know if I'll be able to or not. Um, let's just see if I can find it here. Probably not. So okay, there's yeah. Yeah, that's not the one I really like. Let's see if I can. Let's see if Wikipedia will give me any joy. I don't remember where I found this really nice graphic. Well, that's sort of it. Well, okay. See, I'm just whining now. I'm just whining. Let's go images. See if I can find it this way. I'm not gonna spend too much time. Ah, there it is. This is the one that I like the most in terms of a graphical representation of the scientific method, because scientific method is what's called a process fractal. Okay, now you've probably heard of a graphical fractal, like the Mandelbrot set, or there's a bunch of them. Nature sort of works in a fractal way in terms of structures and all of that, but nature also works in terms of process fractals, and basically what that is it's sort of a feedback, right? So you have some kind of process, whatever it is, right? And the output of that process feeds back into the input of the same process. So it just goes around and around and around and around. There's no beginning, there's no end. That's why I like to have this sort of circular representation of the scientific method. You saw one or two there that sort of have a beginning and an end. Well, look, people, science and the scientific method is not. It doesn't have a beginning and an end. If you hear any scientist ever, ever say that we are sure we're done with this, we know. I always forget the exact term, but I remember it when I don't have to remember it, and I don't remember it when I have to remember it. Oh, now see, what I've done is and I do this every single time, not every single time. if I run a live stream on my Linux machine, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to kill. It completely freezes my machine totally. I mean, it like completely freezes it. And that is what it's done in this case. So, all right, I'm going to try to kill that, and I'm going to run through this scientific method at the same time. Now, if you want to think about where to start, the, probably the best place to start is either making observations or thinking of an interesting question. Um, Either one of those is sort of a useful entry point into this loop. Now, once you get into this loop, you're never going to get out of it. It's sort of like European vacation, right? Um, so yeah, once you're in the loop, yeah, you're not going to get out of it anytime soon, which is okay, right? That's all right. There's nothing wrong with not knowing. That is what makes the universe interesting, right? Is that we don't know. If we did know everything, or you know, many things, it would be a little less boring, right? Or boring. And if we, it would be totally boring, totally boring. So let's make sure that you know, and I think the universe has done a pretty good job at ensuring, in the long term, that we really don't have a clue. And anytime, as I said, that you hear a scientist say that we're sure about this, we're sure. Um, I would That's a red flag for me. So more than anything else, the scientist needs to remain extremely skeptical and also extremely open-minded. So don't close your mind off to anything at all, right? Even if it really seems outlandish and there's lots of data to show that it's totally wrong. Everything that we think that we know today uh, was once a wild and crazy idea in somebody's head, right? And so you know our understanding of the universe evolves and changes. Now, is the universe well, and right, the universe is evolving and changing as well. So we may never actually even catch up to that. I sure hope we don't, right? But anyway, the idea here. Let's see if I can I make this any bigger. I can make it a little bit bigger. So let's just start with making observations, right? So we're alive, so we're walking around and we're seeing things happening, right? And we you know we have these five senses that sort of impose themselves on us, right? So I mean, you can't help but not sense things, right? So when it says things like, what do I see in nature, that's what that means, is that what what information are my senses providing me about the universe, right? And it says here that it can be your own experiences, your own thoughts. If you read anything, if you hear anything, whatever, right? You make some kind of observations, and then uh, what you'll see right away, maybe not right away, but over over a certain amount of time, you'll start to see that things kind of repeat themselves, right? There's some kind of a pattern, right? There's some kind of thing. It's like, oh, okay, well, I saw this kind of thing before, and now I'm seeing it again, and my question is, is always, it's like, what is that all about? What is going on there, right? What's making that pattern? Why am you know like why do I see the color red, right? What what is it about that? Um, just as a crude example. So, you know, questions. And to be a scientist, um, you definitely have to be curious, right? Curiosity is pretty top of the list. So I would say, in no particular order, skepticism, open-mindedness, and curiosity um, uh, are three important attributes of being a scientist and doing science. My poor Linux machine is not happy. It's not happy at all. I'm gonna have to do a hard reboot, which I absolutely hate doing, because yeah, I mean, I can't see the chat. I can't see anything at all because it's totally frozen. Ah, ah. All right. Well, I will continue to try. I just have to kill uh, my browser, and things will get a little bit better. If there's any Linux computer expert out there that can tell me why I'm running Fedora 24, I believe, 24, um, running Firefox, okay, running Firefox, when I view a live stream, now I can watch um, uh, recorded videos on YouTube, no problem at all, no problem at all. But if I watch a live stream on YouTube, then this Linux machine, I mean, completely dies. I mean, I cannot move my mouse, right? The pointer is it isn't even moving. It's completely frozen. All right. So lots and lots of questions, right? Questions. Um, and what that does is that sort of allows you to generate some guesses, right? Some guesses as to, okay, what do I think could be causing these kinds of patterns to occur? What possible answers do I have to these questions that I have? Then what you do is uh, you create experiments, right? You develop an experiment to well, you make some predictions. Okay, yeah, because experiments are sort of next. You make some um, predictions. Okay, if uh, you know if my guess is correct, then I should see this and this and this and this and this and this and this, right? If I do some kind of an experiment, right? Then you set up some kind of an experiment where you collect data, right? You collect data. Now, here's one of my gripes about so-called citizen science. Okay, I I think that um, uh, the work being done um, by these so-called citizen scientists, I think is absolutely fabulous. I think, I mean, it's necessary and it's absolutely fabulous. It's exciting. It's awesome and all that. However, however, it is not science. It is not science. What so-called citizen scientists are doing, for the most part, is they're gathering data, right? Because either because the scientists, um, the professional scientists, you know, can't afford to hire the labor to do it, or there's just so much data that it would take decades and decades and decades. So you know need to be able to parallelize this a little bit, or there just isn't the computing power, um, either in terms of intelligence or just raw power to um, collect that data. So parallelizing the effort with an intelligent being um, gathering that data is totally awesome. So um, I'm not trying to put down so-called citizen science in any way. I'm just saying that that's sort of a misnomer, um, that really needs to be, at least in my opinion, needs to be corrected, because um, it's not science. It's data collection. Um, uh, yeah, straight up. Anyway, so experiments, right? Experiments, being able to replicate experiments. Then we get into this little loop here where it's like, okay, we set up an experiment, we um, um, take some data, and it's like, oh, okay, well, that's not exactly what I wanted, or there's something funny in the data because I forgot to calibrate, or I forgot to take into account something, or the measurement wasn't right, or who knows, lots and lots and lots of things. So you can sort of refine your experiment and then get yourself into this loop to try to create a really really awesome experiment. And I'm gonna have to kill my poor Linux machine. I hate it. I hate it. Huh. So once you're sort of out of that loop, then you can take all of that data, right, and develop a theory, right? Um, and this is sort of your best guess, right? So you made a bunch of guesses over here, and you ran them all through, collected your data, and this data sort of points you towards a solution, towards some kind of a direction that says uh, this this data um, indicates that you know a particular hypothesis that I made seems to match the data. So that can be called a theory, right? And then based on that theory, you can make more observations. You can go back out and look around and see if you can see that. And what will inevitably happen is that you will see new things. You will see different things. You will see things that contradict contradict the theory that you just made, right? And so it goes around and around and around like that. So that's a lot of what this live stream um, is about is sort of thinking in these terms, and being really curious, skeptical, open-minded, and I should add, probably I said, there wasn't any order of importance. I think the most important thing, though, is to have fun, right? I mean, don't be very, very sincere, right? But don't be too serious. Don't be too serious. Have fun with this. Relax, chill. Don't hurry if you can. Have fun with this and try to figure out whatever it is, right? That's awesome. All right, look, I'm gonna have to reboot my poor Linux machine the hard way, which means pushing the power button for 5 seconds and killing it. Man, I hate doing this. Oh, there it goes. I absolutely hate doing that. So hang with me here just for a couple of minutes while I do this. This was totally my own fault. Oh, before I do that, I need to hold on. I'm going to put you down just for a few seconds. Hold on. All right, I am back, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can come back here. Cool. All right. So my poor Linux machine is rebooting as we speak. Totally my fault. I what I do is I um, um, click on the link for the live stream so I can actually get the link so I can copy and paste it into the Twitter, right? So I can tweet the actual link to it. And then I forget that I'm on that page. So when I go live, it it goes live and it just freezes it just freezes my Linux machine. And it's the worst thing that you can possibly do to a computer is turn off its power while it's doing things, while it's madly doing things, right? And that's what it's doing. It's like madly, crazily doing stuff. So it freezes itself, and then I cut the power, and it's like, oh man, oh, it's painful. One of these days, I'm gonna try to turn that thing back on, and it's gonna go, I ain't doing that no more. So cheers. So that's what Astronomy Daily Live um, is about. At least half half of what it's about. Um, the other half is sharing the passion, right? I mean, I'm not really here to communicate science. I'm not really here to um, educate um, in any way. Other podcasters and people are doing that, and they're doing it extremely well. And yeah, I'm more about you know casual, fun, sharing the passion, and um, you know sort of showing you how at least one scientist works and thinks. And I certainly do not have a monopoly on those kinds of things in any sense. And everything that I do is subject to change, modification, all of that. I actually uh, I like change. I get it's not that I really get tired of things if they're the same thing over and over again, but you know, I encourage change, and I think that's, you know, in a certain sense, I think that's working with the universe, because when I look out to um, the universe, it's all I see is change. Everything is moving. Everything's changing constantly, and it, you know, insanely, right? I mean, not, you know, depending on how you look at it. Okay, now I'm seeing the chat again. It's all coming back. Um, uh, da, 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 da. Wow, I'm glad to see everybody in chat. Bobby, Gilles is here. Now, you know, I've got to give a shout out to Gilles, because I haven't in quite a while. He's got like 5 YouTube channels, um, and let's see. He's got a shortwave radio channel. He's got a VHF, UHF radio channel. He's got a Windows Insider channel. He has a sort of I don't know how exactly to describe it. It's sort of like a computer tech channel, and then he's got, I always forget that 5th one. So Gilles, help me out. Um, uh, with that, and most definitely, what I need to do is I'll put links to all of his channels down in the description here, because I'm not going to do it now because that'll be a mess. Now, before I forget, I'm going to kill that window that has the live stream going. Okay. Yay. All right. I'll be fine now. I'll be fine now. So, wow, look at all this conversation. So Bobby, Uncle Bill, Miss Lady Catherine, Tom, uh, all the regulars. There's Gilles, there's Patrick, Bobby. Did I say your name already? Um, yeah, very, very cool. Glad to see everybody in the chat. Glad to see everybody in the chat. Yeah, I've got Bobby. My Linux machine is Fedora 24. I haven't updated yet. I'm pretty bad about updating things. You know, I just said that I really like change, and then here I am not updating my Linux machine. Although I do keep all the software up to date. So I run the updates on that pretty regularly. I haven't recently, so I probably need to do that at some point. Yeah, easy computer fixes. Yeah. So I mean, I'm a subscriber to all those, so I'll go find them, and I'll post links, as I said, down there. Now, Gilles, for me, is like a model. I've been watching him for over a year, and I really like um, uh, how Gilles does his live streams. You know, they're really casual, fun, really informative. I mean, you know, Gilles says, you know, that, you know, um, uh, um, that I know my stuff. Well, dude, you know your stuff really well. So yeah, you know, there are a lot of um, computer experts out there, um, and never seen, I mean, being a computer person myself to a certain extent, um, never seen anybody with your depth and breadth of knowledge about those kinds of things. And on top of that, he's a radio dude too, which was just, I mean, I've been wanting to get um, into radio for a while. Not necessarily, um, as a like a listener or anything like that. But I want to get into radio astronomy. And in order to get into radio astronomy, I have to understand radio, right? Um, tell you a radio story, a shortwave radio story. So as a kid, and I cannot tell you anything about this radio at all. But as a kid, I had a shortwave radio that was I'm going to put them well, yeah, it was probably I want to say that it was about 2 feet wide, about a foot and a half high, and a foot and a half deep, and it used vacuum tubes. It used vacuum tubes. I have absolutely no idea about the make, model, anything at all. It had these big dials on them, and I mean, to a kid's eye, it's like millions of switches and didn't have a clue. Didn't have a clue, but and you know, I knew nothing. I knew absolutely nothing about what was going on there at all, except for the fact that I could, tune it around, and I could hear Chinese language, and I could hear foreign language, German, English, Spanish. I could hear all these things, and it it was interesting. It was interesting, but it definitely didn't grab me, right? I mean, Gilles, right? I mean, it just grabbed you, right? It just grabbed and pulled. Um, with me, it was just sort of like, well, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But I never really went very far with that. But uh, uh, but so yeah, as I said, I have absolutely no idea what kind of radio it was, except it was big, right? And as I said, it used vacuum tubes. So yeah, um, uh, and now it's gone, right? I mean, it's gone. I have no idea. I left home and gone. So cheers. Yeah, see how it feels when somebody else was talking about you publicly. It's like red faced right away. It's like no, 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 no. So that's why when I come on your your shows, I'm sort of hesitant, to even acknowledge the fact that I'm there, because I know that you're going to talk about me, and it's like no, 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 no. But you know, I think we need to support each other, and I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate your support. I love your passion, and your knowledge is, uh, um, as I said, it's broad and deep, and that's awesome. That's very, very, very awesome. So yeah, uh, I very much am trying to sort of mimic your your shows, doing mine here, where it's just a casual, fun thing where we share a passion, and that's it, and that's it. So okay, cool. I'm just yeah. I need Okay, so you're saying get Fedora 28. Okay, it's up to 28 now. I need to upgrade this. And Chromium. Chromium. Okay. All right. I will look into that. Um, I know that this machine wants to upgrade Fedora, and I've been hesitating um, mainly because I don't know what it does. I don't know what it does. And maybe you can answer this really, really quick because I want to get back to astronomy. But if I do an upgrade, I mean, it pops a window here and says, new upgrade, for Fedora is available. Do you want to do that? Now, is it going to like completely erase all of my hard drive and repartition and all of that, or is it just going to replace sort of the essential, the kernel and all of that? Um, yeah, let me know because I mean, if I have to do like a backup, which I do anyway, I want to do a backup, right before I do an upgrade. So if there's any kind of problem at all, I haven't lost everything. Um, but then, yeah, okay. All right, and you're saying Chromium. Chromium. Okay, I've never heard of Chromium, so I'll have to check that out. Check that out for sure. All right, well, cool. I think I was going through archive.org, and if you go to my Discord server, which you can see a link to down in the description there, and if you haven't joined that server yet, I encourage you to. Excuse me. Discord is a I don't know how to describe it. It's sort of a multimedia forum slash chat um, of sorts, and there are various Discord servers, and then each server can have different channels, which are like different topics, right? So I've got a few on my server, and one of the channels on there is called Papers, where I post and I encourage others to post any kind of interesting astronomical papers that they came across. Articles, they don't necessarily have to be, professional things. Um, they can be news articles, that kind of stuff. Um, just any kind of news, anything like that. And I I go over to archive.org, pretty much every day, and take a look at what is the latest and greatest in terms of that. And let me I'm going to share my screen here if it's going to let me. Let's see, share. And so let's just go over to archive.org really quick, because archive.org is this it's sort of a clearinghouse for the latest and greatest bleeding edge publications, not only in astrophysics, right, which is pretty much, I have to say, it's the only one that I really make time for, but all of physics, right? General relativity, high energy physics, nuclear theory, computational physics, blah, 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 blah. But then there's also the latest and greatest math papers, computer science, biology, finance, stats, electrical engineering, um, economics. And this is the bleeding edge stuff. This is the latest and greatest stuff, and it's updated every single weekday, somewhere around 1 hour UTC. So about an hour before this live stream starts, Archive will update their papers, and usually there's 20 to 40 new astrophysics papers every single weekday, right? And it, as I said, it is the bleeding edge. It's the latest and greatest work that's come out. These are papers, generally speaking, that have been accepted for publication, but haven't actually been published yet, because it takes time, to publish all these things. There's sort of a backlog with um, publications. So the preprints go here, and Cornell is kind enough to host these, and all of these are freely available PDF files. So what I do is, when I hear a news story written by somebody saying new supernova discovered, I'll go to that news story and I won't read it, but I will scan it for either the name of the author or the name of the paper that actually gives me, like from the horse's mouth, right? So archive.org is very, very awesome. I encourage you all to get on there. Now, I will openly admit, freely admit, that most of the stuff posted there is way above my head, right? I don't have a clue what they're talking about at all, at all. And if it's too far above my head, then it's sort of like, okay, well, I'm not going to get much out of this, right? But if it's above my head, but maybe I can reach my arm up and sort of touch it a little bit, right? Maybe about that high or so, or lower, right? But if I can reach up and sort of touch it, right, then maybe there's a hope. Then maybe there's a hope. And what I encourage you to do, and what I do, okay, is when I am presented with a topic that I don't know much about, what I do is I go into 3-year-old mode, right? I look at the pictures, right? I don't understand any of these words. I don't understand anything at all, right? But I like to look at the pictures, because with a picture book, even a 3-year-old, um, 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 4-year-old has enough experience to be able to sort of recognize things, see some patterns. You know, um, if nothing else, right? If nothing else, enjoy the art, right? Just enjoy the images or the drawings or the plots for the art, if nothing else, right? So one of the papers that I saw today was this one, and I posted a few here, as you can see. Now these are the ones that sort of just sort of light a light bulb in my head, right? I mean, that's about it. I look at the title and it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. Now you can go through archive.org and look at the titles, look at the abstracts, see if any little light bulb goes off in your head. It doesn't have to be these at all. These are mine, right? But if you think that something's interesting, post it up here. Post it up, no problem at all. Anybody can. So, but this one seemed kind of interesting, right? Immersive virtual reality experiences for all sky data. So I think you know, I, you know, I don't know. I mean, that's just kind of a neat idea. So what we're presented with first, and actually let's just go right into the paper here. We can look at the abstract. So every scientific paper has right at the beginning this thing called an abstract, right? And the abstract is a paragraph long. Sometimes they're really long paragraphs. Sometimes they're really, really short. This one's sort of a reasonably sized one. And what the abstract does is it just presents an overview of the entire paper, right? Um, so let's see. Um, Spherical coordinate systems, which are ubiquitous in astronomy, cannot be shown without distortion on flat 2D surfaces, like a chart, right? Right, like a sky chart, or yeah, pretty much anything. Uh, so let's see. This poses challenges for two complementary phases of visual um, exploration, making discoveries in data by looking for relationships, patterns, or anomalies, and publication, where the results of an exploration are made available for scientific scrutiny or communication. This is a longstanding problem, and many practical solutions have been developed. So our all-sky VR approach provides a workflow for experimentation with commodity virtual reality head-mounted displays, um, using the free open source S2Plot programming library and an A-frame WebVR browser-based framework. We provide a straightforward way to visualize all sky catalogs on a user-centered virtual celestial sphere. Well, that is very cool. And look at that. It's available, open source, free. I like it already. I like it already. But this kind of stuff is, I mean, for the most part, VR is, I mean, I have a basic understanding, I guess. But I'm going to say that this is sort of above my head for sure, but maybe not totally. So what I'm going to do is definitely look for some pictures. I'm hoping I'm hoping that there's some pictures in here. I mean, the whole concept here is visualization, right? So I'm hoping that there's some kind of a picture, even though it is going to be a 2D kind of a picture. So generally, the introductions are sort of laying out the problem, right? And laying out, what problem they're trying to solve, what things, what patterns they've seen, that kind of stuff. Let's see, spherical coordinate pair, right ascension, declination is a convenient way to catalog locations of celestial objects. Um, but you can also do distance, redshift, velocity. Um, Spherical coordinates provide a direct challenge. Whoop, did I go too far? Yeah. So the conventional approach to the problem of displaying, presenting, and publishing data in spherical coordinates is to perform a mapping to a flat 2D representation. Um, Computer-based plotting has vastly simplified the process. Right. Uh, a number of browser-based tools for navigation all sky data set exists. There's Google Sky. There's the Worldwide Telescope. Right. Um, and Aladdin, which I think Aladdin is being used by Simbad, if I remember right. I think that's what we use to visualize when we have an object of the day. I think it's Aladdin that's used to visualize those. So yeah, but it's all just a 2D thing, right? So the emergence of consumer virtual reality head-mounted display presents a low-cost alternative to these large-scale spaces. HMDs are ideal for providing an immersive 4 pi steradian all-sky representation. So 4 pi um, um, steradian. Steradian is just a three-dimensional radian, and 4 pi is a sphere, right? So you're these things are going to place you in the physical center of a complete sphere, right? So um, it'll be as if you're floating in space, and wherever you look, you'll be able to see things, right? Oh wow, I like it already. Um, let's see. Yeah, so where the viewer can look anywhere, right? Forwards, backwards, up, down, uh, side to side. Yeah, it's like a planet. You know, I wouldn't call it a planetarium dome. I call it a planetarium sphere, right? I mean, it's the whole thing. You aren't sitting on the ground or anything. You're floating out there. That's very cool. Um, yeah. Patrick, it's but I mean, extend the planetarium concept to be able to visualize anything, right? Not necessarily just objects in the sky, but everywhere. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get into this. That's that's part of the problem of exploring this with you for the first time. I don't really prepare, right? Um, so we are discovering and reading this paper for the first time together. So I'm not going to be able to explain everything, and I'm not going to be able to see all the details or anything else. What I'm doing is I am exploring this with you, and if you want to get into it more, there's the link. Go for it. But this sounds extremely interesting. So let's see. Two broad classes of HMDs. There's compute-based and mobile-based. Okay. Don't know anything about that at all. Oh, there's some pictures. Yay. Okay. Let's see what it says. Screenshots from an immersive all-sky visualization of confirmed exoplanetary system using our S2 plot to A-frame export pathway. The data set from the Kepler space mission is described in more detail in Appendix B. Features in the VR environment include mapping of individual objects, a low polygon count sky cube providing a reference grid, and a gaze-based menu system. So wow, I have a Samsung Galaxy S7. I don't have an Edge, but I've got an S7. That's my smartphone. So yeah, I guess this is sort of like a menu of some sort. Yeah, I don't know. These look exactly the same to me. Maybe you're supposed to maybe these are like stereo shots that you're supposed to look at, with both eyes. I've never been able to successfully do that. Maybe I'll have to try that. Okay, yeah, these two screenshots were captured with showing left and right image views that form the immersive environment when viewed um, 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 from a compatible head-mounted display. Okay, so it's not a stereo view. In this paper, we present a workflow for experimentation with commodity VR HMDs. Okay. Application program interface. Like it as a programmer. That's what I like to see. Oh, see, I like these guys even more because look, they're writing everything in C. Okay. Now, this is a horribly, horribly biased opinion. Okay. But as far as I'm concerned, C is is the is the greatest programming language ever. um, Object-oriented programming is a nice paradigm, but I don't like the overhead. I don't like the overhead at all. I can do everything in C that um, can be done in C++ or Java or any of the other um, OPPs. I'll definitely programming in OPP if my arm is twisted, like Python, right? I mean, Python um, uh, is an OPP, and and uh, and I love Python, right? So, but yeah, I'm so glad to see that S2 plot is written in C. So the fact that it's written in C makes me want to go over there and grab it. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here because I can't see enough of this screen. Okay, so we demonstrate how all sky VR distribution generates a virtual reality experience. Work an all sky data set comprises a spherical coordinate pair um, and a radial coordinate. So you have location and also distance. That's cool. Scaling factor, um, colors. Yeah, very cool. Quick start and customizable. I'm looking for more pictures here. Oh, so it is a stereo view? Okay, cool. All right, well, Uncle Bill, I will have to try it. I will have to try it. So tons of headsets that you can drop your phone into. Oh, okay, yeah. I got you. You use your phone. You put your phone inside of the headset, and then you look at your phone. I got you. Got you. Yeah, I'll have to try that. Heck yeah. Um, so let's see. Yeah, this is very cool. It's obviously much more than what I have time to really get into here. So I'm just going to be saying wow and cool a lot. Um, so yeah, of course, the first thing I'm thinking of is Gaia, right? Data release 2. Wow, that would be really awesome. So the A-frame inspector, this view is accessed by pressing a certain command when viewing outside the full screen mode in a browser. The textures forming the sky cube are um, visible. Yeah, very cool. Texture has been hidden by selecting the I symbol hierarchy, blah, blah, blah. This reveals the individual. Yeah, see, so I, I guess the idea is that when you're immersed in this thing, you're sitting right in the middle of it here, and you can look all around. Wow, that's cool. Usually impractical to type commands on a keyboard while immersed in a virtual environment. Google Cardboard. There you go. Uncle Bill, you are so on top of things, and I'm so not on top of things. I'm glad that you guys are around to teach me stuff. That's what this is all about. This is a circle of friends just having a conversation. It's not me talking at you. It's all of us, you know, sitting around on a virtual porch, uh, you know, sitting in our lounge chairs and just talking astronomy, right? Okay, well, cool. I'm gonna have to check this out. This is totally uh, news to me. News, very cool. Um, Categorical labels, magnitude, mass, morphology. Um, very cool. So there's an early experiment with Oculus Rift. So standard astronomy software has not yet caught up with the availability of HMDs. This makes it difficult for experimentation or wider scale early adoption to occur. Without an easy way to look at your all-sky data with an HMD, how can you objectively assess the level of insight or potential for discovery that could arise? That's marketing there, man. Woohoo! Yeah, they think that they have found a problem and they think that they have found a solution. Um, we provide two pathways to adoption of HMDs. A quick start where um, conversion of data values to the relevant HTML statements can be achieved with any number of approaches, and a fully customizable solution for those who can see the benefit of the S2Plot programming library to provide more control over the visual outcome. Well, see, you know, look, I I try I try to uh, just have a couple of things on my plate to work on. And these kinds of things just drive me insane because what I want to do is I just want to like drop everything else, right? Drop all the other work I'm doing and jump on this because it looks very cool. So uh, I'm gonna have to look at this. That's just insane. It's just absolutely insane. I'm gonna have to look up Google Cardboard to see if I can uh, either either construct something to work on my smartphone um, or something because yeah, this is just very cool. This is very cool, and I think there's a lot of potential here. Not just sort of the planetarium type of thing, but there are lots of there are lots of ways to visualize data. And actually, as an artist, right, I'm trying to do that, right? You can sort of see behind me here. Okay, this is a visualization of um, um, astronomical data, and in fact, this is um, just a 2D representation of something that could very easily be turned into a 3D object. And the problem that I have had, maybe up until now, is that I had no way of really um, representing this in a three-dimensional way. But now that I've seen this paper, it's sort of like, huh, I wonder if I can I wonder if I can do that. I don't know. See, it's a horrible horrible tangent, and you can see how upset I am about it. So yeah, I think that's extremely interesting. And I think, yeah, in terms of being able to visualize all kinds of data um, and get it off of these flat 2D surfaces, I think there's a lot of potential there. Yeah, it just helps us, right? Because we're sort of we're used to, you know, seeing things in 3D. We're so used to it that we usually don't even pay any attention. It has to be like thrown into our face with like a VR thing, which is 3D, right? Just like all of this. This is all 3D. Um, but uh, you know, to be thrown into that, it's like, whoa, you know, and it changes perspective. And you know what? I am all about changing perspectives, because if we change our perspective, we sort of, you know, we all live in boxes, right? And you know, some of them are small boxes, some of them are big boxes, but regardless of what the size of the box is, we all live in boxes. And that sort of implies that there's an inside and an outside. And the outside we can't really see very well, right? So anything outside of our box, we're just oblivious to it, right? But changing perspective, changing perspective allows, if nothing else, maybe some transparency of the walls of that box. So we can sort of see through the box a little bit more. And even better than that, right? Getting out of the box completely, looking at the box from the outside, right? Seeing how big your box is, right? And seeing what's outside. And stuff like this um, allows us to, yeah, yeah, yeah. My box says fragile. um, but you know, being able to change your perspective on things, I think for science is really, really, really important, because science can you know, dig itself into a hole and become very, very dogmatic, right? Almost religious, right? Where it's like, you know, there are certain truths and beliefs that are just accepted, right? And as a scientist, I don't accept anything. I can't. I can't. If I don't question things, I can't call myself a scientist at all. I've got to be, you know, I mean, if I start accepting, um, you know, what I'm being told and what I'm learning, um, then you know, that's more of a dogma than anything else. And yeah, that's not what science is about. Science is about, you know, discovery and trying to understand things and trying um, um, to figure things out, and more than anything else, have fun. And this VR stuff looks like a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm going to have to dive into that a little bit more, and uh, yeah, I'm going to have to check all this out, because it's very compelling. And you know, the fact that it's free, open source, and written in C, man, I am sold. I am sold. So I'm going to have to go over to GitHub. I'm going to have to grab all that stuff. I'm going to have to look at the API. Oh, man, it's not fair. It's not fair that there are so many cool things. It's just not fair at all. Definitely a first world problem. For sure. For sure. All right, I'm going to get out of here for now. Thanks so much, everybody, for coming in. Um, spending some time here. You know, you definitely don't have to show up every day. The only person that is really required to show up every day is this guy right here. And I'm here anyway, so it's easy. Easy, easy, easy. I have no problem at all. And, you know, if I can't make it, I will let you know, right? I mean, I don't feel obligated in any way, um, you know, to have to be here. Um, if if I can't, or if I don't want to, or anything else, I'll definitely, you know, try to do the responsible thing and let you know, right? I'll make a post, usually on my Discord server, saying, "Hey, I'm going to be late," or "Hey, I'm not going to make it." You know, I lead such a boring life that I usually know weeks in advance, um, if there's a possibility, you know, that I'm not going to make a live stream. Um, and that's absolutely true, right? So, I mean, if I know that I'm not going to make it, I'll let you know here, um, days in advance, days and days and days. And then I'll say it every single day, leading up to it. So yeah, yeah, uh, you will be informed. But look, I lead a very simple life. I just have a couple of things going on. I've got a day job. I've got research I'm doing here, all kinds of astronomical stuff, programming, uh, watching YouTube when I can, and doing this, right? And that's it. That's it. So, I mean, really simple. So I'm here anyway, and having a blast, having a blast. So I'm glad you all came in. I'm going to let you go. I definitely respect your time. I appreciate you coming in when you can. As I said, come in every day if you want. You're more than welcome. The circle of friends brings you in. But if you can come in every week, every other day, every month, every year, whatever it is, come on in. You are welcome. And if you're new to this, um, some kind of an amateur, if you're a pro, come on in. Come on in. We're sharing the passion at all. I would love to hear about work that others are doing. So, you know, if you want to talk about what you're doing, not in an interview um, kind of a way, but just a way to talk about work you're doing, um, and have a little bit of feedback, questions, you know, that kind of thing. Very, very casual, very, very fun. I can put you down. This is a Google Hangout, right? So I can put you. I think I can put like 10 guests here, right? And we can have a blast, right? All right, I'm going to get out of here for now. Peace. Cheers. Yep, the mothership is calling. So I will see you on the spin tomorrow, a little more than 23 hours from now. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great evening, a great day, and I will see you on the spin. Okay. Bye.